So in order to do number 59, first of all, you need some space. So let me rewrite this thing. And let's distribute the 2/3, okay? It's either that or you get rid of the 2/3 by multiplying everything by 3. But I'm going to distribute 2/3. So I'm actually going to just draw my arrows, and I want to show all of my work here just so you guys can really understand what I'm doing. It's really going to be 2/3 times 6x, but you're going to put the 6x over a 1, and then you're going to have plus 2/3 times 30, but you're going to put that over a 1 as well. Do you guys understand what I'm doing here? Okay, now the 6 up on top could cancel with the 3 on the bottom, and you're going to have 2 left over up on top, because 6 divided by 3 is 2. Do you understand? And 2 times 2 is 4 with an x left over. Now we're going to do the same over here on these fractions that we're multiplying. So the 3 and the 30 cancel out, and you're going to have a 10 left over up there. Does that make sense? Okay, so what do I have? I have a plus 20, because 2 times 10 is 20. And that's what's left on my left side of my equal sign. No more fractions, no parentheses, nothing else to do. Everything is simplified. Let me look at the right side over here. I'm going to distribute 5 times x, that's positive 5x, and distribute 5 times 4, that's positive 20. I'm going to bring down the minus 2x and bring down the x that's in the front. And now I have 4 terms, 3 of which I could combine. What is x plus 5x? 6x. Take away 2x, 4x. So I'm going to bring down the 4x way down here. And I'm going to also take this 20 plus 20. I'm just going to bring it down also plus 20. So our complicated looking equation becomes something easy now. Now if you continue to solve and you subtract 4x and you subtract 4x, you're going to realize that the x's completely disappear and you have 20 equals 20. Now this is always true. It's always true. 20 is always equal to 20. So that's when you say x could be any number you want. X equals all real numbers. There's an infinite amount of answers. So let's jump back to our test. So number 59 is all real numbers. Okay, so number 60, let's solve, and it says solve for x. There's actually 2 variables right here. You want to get x by itself. So here's x, there's a 2 in front, and there's a minus y at the very end. What would you get rid of first? You'd get rid of the minus y. You know what? Maybe we should rewrite this and get more space. So I have rewritten number 60, and we know we want to solve for x. So you want to get x by itself. So here's my x. I need to get it by itself. So I'm going to go plus y to cancel out the y, plus y. On the right side, it doesn't cancel. You actually get 2y. Let me bring down what I have left. I have a 2x left, but I still need to get it by itself. So I need to divide by 2 and divide by 2, and I end up with x equals, the 2's cancel, x equals y, ladies and gentlemen. So x equals y is our answer. So number 60, we just said that x equals y. So it's C. Moving on, number 61, we have an absolute value. It's not an equation, it's an absolute value expression. All they want us to do is to plug in the number 2 for n and the number 3 for d. Okay? So all we're doing is plugging in values and working it out. Let me actually rewrite this so we could have more space. So here's our absolute value expression, and they tell us that n equals 2 and that d equals 3. So all we're going to do is plug in the 2 and the 3. I want to take this 2, put it right there. I want to take this 3, and I want to put it over here. So let me rewrite the whole thing. 2, but instead of d, I want to put times 3, and then minus 3, but instead of n, I'm going to put times 2, and then I close the absolute value, and then minus 4 at the very end. Let's do the math. So you zoom in and work on the inside of the absolute value. So that's really multiplication and multiplication. You're going to do this one and this one before subtracting. So that's really going to be 6 minus 6. The absolute value of 0 is still 0, and 0 minus 4 is just negative 4 as your final answer. So the final answer is negative 4, option B. Let's do the same thing for 62. So on this guy, we're going to have, let me do it right here, 2 times b, and b happens to be 1, and then minus 5, close absolute value, plus 1 at the very end. So 2 times 1, that's 2 minus 5, and the absolute value, what's the absolute value of 2 minus 5? That's negative 3, but with the absolute value, it's going to change to positive 3. So you really have positive 3 plus 1, which the final answer is for, which is letter C. Why did I change the 3? What is 2 take away 5? So that's the absolute value of negative 3 plus 1. And the absolute value of negative 3 is positive 3 plus 1 does give you the 4 that we have on our answer right there for C. Last question, number 63. What we want to do is find the slope. So of course we're going to use a slope formula. And I always write the slope formula with the division first and the subtractions. And then I plug in my y2 and my y1 values. So where do we get our y2 and y1 values? I get them from these two coordinates. So you have your x, your y, your x, and your y. This is your first point, this is your second point, and that's where we get the values to plug into our formula. So knowing those values, it should be easy. Here's my division, my subtraction. y2 happens to be 10. y1 happens to be 2. x2 happens to be negative 5. x1 happens to be negative 5. And if you work this out, the minus minus changes to plus plus. You're going to get 8 over 0, which is undefined. Okay? If the 0 is underneath, then the answer is undefined. So the final answer is B.